Good morning. Thank you for joining me for today's Facebook Live. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne in Australia, and this is my regular Sunday Facebook Live. This is the card that we're going to make today. It's cased from one of my Canadian friends, Laura Napier. She posted it in a Facebook group that we're in together, and I loved everything about the card, so I had to copy it. My focus at this time of the year is always on Mother's Day, so just thinking about Mother's Day cards. I seem to be a little bit light on Mother's Day sentiments, but this, you're seriously the best, I thought, is a good substitute, and you can always write Happy Mother's Day inside the card. Now, this is one of these cards where I've pulled from a whole heap of different products, so let's have a quick look at what I'm using today. Stamp sets, Spotlight on Nature, obviously for the flowers, and then I'm using textured notes for that sentiment, and because I'm not so good at splatter and I like fake stamped splatter, I'm using the elements of text for the splatter. Okay. And then the dies are around it all, or as we call them in my circle, wonky circles, and I've used the 4th, 5th and 6th largest, well, smallest dies, so counting from the middle, 4, 5, 6. And that's all our products, so let's get going with our card. Just trying to decide what to do first. Okay, let's do our flowers. So, crumb cake, and I just re-inked my crumb cake ink, so it's a bit darker than it was. I was quite enjoying it light, but I thought with this I definitely need a bit more color to it. So we're just going to stamp our flower, and then with a water painter I'm going to just smudge some color. Now, because this is water-based ink, the water will smudge it, but if you want a little bit more color, just pick up some color from the top, you just smush it against the top of your ink pad, and you'll have the color there. Now, I'm not doing the whole leaves, I just want a bit of color coming up from the bottom, and I don't know, do we really call crumb cake color? It's just a bit of blending, I suppose. Okay, and then we want some Calypso Coral for the flowers. And again, just picking up a little bit. Remember, start light, you can always go dark, but if you go too dark, then you have a problem because you can't take it off. And I'm trying to go a little bit darker than what I had in that one, because I just feel that that one looks like it's a little bit insipid. These flowers need a bit more color. Okay, let's just add some more water here. So there we go. Oops, and the little one needs some color too. Okay, I'm going to just put that aside to dry, and now we're going to do our blending. So I'm starting with my biggest circle, and I'm going to add Calypso Coral to that one. Now, pick up your ink and just rub off first, because you will get that really dark initially, and again, I want to go lighter because I can always add color, but if I suddenly hit it with too dark, then I'm not going to get that colour. And I want it a bit darker in the middle, so we're going to add more colour in the middle. Okay. Yeah, I think that I'll be happy with that one. Then I'm going with my smallest one, and there is a reason why I'm doing it in this order. It's just because I'm going to add some crumb cake to the other circle, so we may as well do it all at the same time, although it doesn't really matter what order you do this in. Now, I find that my Misty Moonlight is quite dark, so you really want to rub off, otherwise you're going to have very dark on your Misty Moonlight. And again, a bit darker in the middle, or middle-ish, it doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to take my crumb cake on my middle-sized circle. And given that I've just re-inked this, let's go carefully. I don't want it coming too dark. Okay, and again, same as before, we're adding some darkness in the inside. And now I want to add a bit of crumb cake onto the sides of my Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to add just a little bit of crumb cake onto the Calypso Coral one as well. Just to add some interest. I think we need a bit darker Calypso Coral here. Okay, now we're going to do the splatter. If you're good at splatter, go for it and do it manually, but I'm not so good at splattering, so I go for fake splatter. And I love the splatter in the stamp set. You've got the two different splatter patterns, so I'm using this one, which has sort of your smaller dots, but you can use whichever one you like. And we're just adding splatter. Now, before I put my Calypso Coral ink pad away, I want some splatter on the background here as well. Now, for this one, I actually want that splatter to be quite light, so I'm going to stamp off a couple of times before I stamp it on, and then you can see I'm just going stamp, 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 and it's carrying it through. Okay, that looks nicely splattered to me. We'll put that aside for the minute, and then we're going to clean this off on my very clean chamois. Hi Shani, I'm so happy to see that I've got comments coming through. Facebook seems to be a bit hit or miss, where sometimes it shows me comments and other times it doesn't. It's really annoying, but at least I can see somebody said something to me today. Yay! It's just, remember, if I ever ignore you, it's not because I'm ignoring you, particularly if you've asked me a question about something. It's because Facebook just isn't talking to me. And I will always come back and answer you. And lastly, it's always so embarrassing to show such a dirty chamois, but hey, it is clean dirt because I regularly wash it, and it cleans my stamps, so it's all good. And just some splatter there. Okay, so now everything looks very professionally splattered, and before I put my crumb cake away, I just want to stamp my sentiment. Now, I don't know whether it's just me, but I find that I rock the sentiment a lot, so just be careful when you stamp it. I'm trying to see if I'm getting it straight. Hopefully I am, but just stamp and lift. Try not to rock that. You may notice on this card I actually rocked it and then I tried to disguise it and rub it off, and so it maybe looks like it's part of the splatter, but never admit your mistakes, right? It's all part of the creative process. Now, coming back to our flowers, you're going to fussy cut those, and whoops, there we go, all cut out. Okay, don't know what was going on there. I've actually gone and put dimensionals on the back as well, just to save me time, but this flower's getting a bit droopy. It's not supposed to be doing that. And the other thing that I've done in advance, just so that you don't have to watch me doing it over and over, is I've stamped the flowers onto the insert and colored them exactly the same way as I did those flowers. Right, now we're ready to assemble. So insert can go inside the card. Because I don't know where else we would put it. That was a stupid thing to say. But at least I know that it's stuck there now and it's not going to be hiding away anywhere. And then you can just stick your wonky circles however you like. I know, I always say this does my head in because I lay them out and then have to decide where I like them and then have to lift them all to stick them. So don't quite know what the purpose of that is, but it just gives you an idea of where you want them laid out, and you hope that you can then go and get it the same again. There we go. Let's stick this onto the front of the card. And then before I stick this on, just because I think it's easier to do it when it's flat, and it's easier to do it when it's flat, not on dimensionals, we're just going to add some Wink of Stella to these flowers, because, hey, Wink of Stella makes everything better, and if they're sparkly, then they look even prettier. So I'm going to just add a bit of Wink of Stella to the inside as well. I don't know how obvious that is on camera, but I can assure you that they're sparkling and looking pretty. Let's see if I hold it up. Does that show the Wink of Stella? Maybe. Alright, so peel off all the backs. I've used the mini dimensionals here just because they're smaller and they fit better. On the stems, I've just cut the edge into little strips. You can use the big ones. I think that the big ones would fit behind like those two big flowers, but you would need to cut them for the other spots. So I know that some people use only the minis and others only use big ones. I tend to use both. I use big ones behind big places and small ones behind small places, and just checking that I've actually got all the backings off. I think I do. So you can just position your flowers wherever you're happy with them. There we go. And then I have some of this gold open weave ribbon, and all that I'm going to do is tie it in a knot. I don't need a very big bow because my knot is landing up looking sort of like a bow. And scissors, I'm going to just cut that a bit smaller, cut that off there. Yep, okay, I was just wondering if that was too big, but no, I think that that's going to be fine. And I just need a glue dot. Oh, if my ribbon wants to stick to my glue dot, that would be good. I suppose it would help if I actually pressed the ribbon against the glue dot. Maybe it's me and not the ribbon. And we're gonna stick it on. Okay, so there we go. There's our card with carrying the flower across onto the inside. I think it's really pretty. I think that it's, you know, you could give it just to somebody because you want to tell them that you love them, or give it to your mum for Mother's Day. Just write Happy Mother's Day inside it. Now, this is one of the cards that I am going to be doing at my in-person card class next weekend. So if you're in Melbourne and you want to come and make this class, just reach out to me and I will give you the details for next week's class. If you don't come to the class, well, that's okay too, and I will be back next week, Sunday, for my normal Facebook Live, and chances are it's going to be another Mother's Day card, like I said, just because I'm thinking about florally pretty cards. Have a good week, and I will see you next week. Until then, bye.